Hello, hello. Back once again. We are finally almost done with this little show here. Thank God. Uh,
Yeah.
Kenobi.
Oh yeah.
I'm still recovering a little from being sick last week. I'm feeling much better, much better, but I do still have like a lot of mucus and nasal stuff, sinuses and whatnot. But pretty much on the going uphill end. So
We never. I mean, like we always hear people say "bless you" or "gesundheit" when people sneeze, and that's not a particularly dangerous thing to you to sneeze. It's actually helping you. But when people are coughing, we just kind of look at them like they're idiots.
yeah, I guess, but it's funny because the coughing helps get a lot of the stuff out of the lungs as well. So it's like,
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, good. I want to get that out of there. So
Yeah.
I know exactly. But anyway, speaking of coughing and mucus, Kenobi show here. So okay, I'll be honest that this probably like production wise looks the cleanest.
Yep.
I would say like it looked aesthetic, even like the dull looking parts as far as like the planet they're on, like it
Mhm.
looks fine. Like it doesn't look as cheap,
Right.
which is weird because it's still like a plain type of background and setting, but
Mhm.
it didn't look as cheap as like the Book of Boba Fett sets to
Yeah.
me. I was like,
Exactly.
oh, this is it was kind of nice to have. It looked higher production, or I don't know what, or lighting was better. I don't know, but I was like, I was just more aesthetically okay watching the whole thing. It's
I
like
think
okay.
because they use the volume to as a stage to set the set pieces and the scenes. The volume that what's his name, Dave Filoni and John Favreau came up with. You know what I'm talking about?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
So they use this an interior dome, like it's a giant dome stage, and they can project the backgrounds that they want in 360 degrees around the actors, and they only need to set the areas where you can walk and stand and act. So if it's like Tatooine, all the way around you is a picture of Tatooine, but it's very dense and very clean, so you can literally film it. And also, they put sand all over the place, so and they match the lighting directly coming down on you. In some cases, they can also do the dome above you with the sky color, so that the sun's in the right spot, hitting you in the right angle, and it's called the volume, and that's what they're using. Um, and I think they did a much better job hiding the edges of the volume where people, like, you can walk so far, but then you're hitting a screen. Even though from the camera it looks like they could walk on forever, they can't. So in my mind, I'm always seeing the volume, and I'm always looking. If you look close enough, you can see where it stops and the like background begins. Does that make sense? You
Yeah, I think that's part of it, and then also it might be part of the lighting, like because usually, well, like when they're in the desert, it's like always very bright, but it's always the same level of brightness. It seems it's never usually like there's clouds and there's some shade or anything. It always kind of looks the same. Here, it looked like it was darker, but also still crisp, so
Yeah,
it looked nice.
you
So
did a good job on it, for
starting
real.
out with a positive on it,
Yeah.
surprising, I know. I don't have my glasses on. What does it say? Definitely need to check out the special features. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's good. He's right. That's a good. I think it's on the Mandalorian special features.
Yeah, I have not checked out. I don't even think I finished the first season of Mandalorian to be honest yet. Not yet.
Oh my
One
goodness.
of one of these days I'll pick it up again and finish it, but I don't know when.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the first scene, right, isn't that doesn't it start with like a shot of I assume Coruscant,
Yeah. It's Anakin standing uh,
like on a balcony.
on a balcony of some
They're about
sort.
to kiss and talk about sand, but then they fight. No, just kidding.
That's exactly right. It was a great show talking about kissing and sand.
Yep. But so yeah, he and Obi-Wan are gonna have a sparring session, it seems. I'm not against that in like alone, but I was very annoyed how the fight was cut into like coming back to it throughout the episode for a few seconds and then coming back again. I was kind of annoyed with that a little bit, just the because I'm like, oh, I want to. Okay, now we're gone. Okay, we're here. Wait,
Oh,
now we're gone.
I did like that they did that, because I think it wove it into the story a little better, like how Obi-Wan Kenobi is thinking about what could Anakin or Vader be thinking at that moment, and he's going back in his mind to those moments. And of course, Vader or Anakin is going back to those moments, possibly. But I did want to see more like that. That would have been really great to see other flashbacks instead of just doing one that's woven into the story through the whole show. I would have liked to see multiple flashbacks, but it was a cool way to start it. I like the way they started it.
Yeah, I mean, there's something about it that kind of still has me off the wrong way, but I like their attempt at that. Like as far as in this show and what they're showing, this was a better go more in this direction, attempting to do
Yes.
something here. But like I don't know, the way they have Anakin, he seemed mostly fine, but
Mhm.
still, like the way were sparring seemed odd. Like I don't know, like they didn't seem they do this a lot, and not just Kenobi, but in a lot of shows where like their sparring sessions don't feel like it's a, like there's nothing specific they're trying to get out of it. They're just here's a random sparring session that we're doing, and then as we do this, I might say, "Oh, you're being a little aggressive now," and I don't know. Like I kind of wish there's more direction in
Yeah.
like what is Obi-Wan trying to teach Anakin, you know?
Yeah.
And it just didn't seem. It was just more like we'll discover what he's trying to teach him, sort of as it goes, but Obi-Wan doesn't even know. You know what I mean? Like
Well, he was teaching.
they it was. Oh, go ahead.
He's teaching him patience, and you know that he can easily lose because he puts the winning ahead of the
Yeah,
protecting and
I
defending.
guess I guess I would have preferred then, like, if I were to see them do their fight, and then after the fight's done, give that like say it out loud like that, like rather than just saying it throughout the sparring match. I guess to me,
Yeah.
because like I'd rather see him be impatient, see him be more aggressive, and see Obi-Wan's reactions, like see his reactions to it during their sparring match. And it's pretty fast paced how they usually do it, and then have his commentary on like, dude, okay, like, or have Anakin thinking he's won, Obi-Wan ends up winning or something, and then gives him the spiel of like, dude, like you're impatient, you're focused on winning, and you're thinking this and that. Like, I just personally, I'd rather that be at the end as far as pacing in a fight. They often break up the fight with the dialogue, which can work sometimes, but just personally, I don't know, just for a training thing, just I think that could have been a little bit better.
I
But
think that I know where you're coming from. I did. I mean, if you watch it again, you've seen it just once last night, correct?
yeah, yeah,
I think you'll see that they did that. Obi-Wan is telling him that he's being too aggressive and that he's more interested in winning than defending himself.
well, yeah, I know that's what I'm saying. He said it like while they're fighting, as if he was like experience. But I'm saying I would have rather seen their whole fight first and then have his commentary.
Oh, I
Essentially,
see what you're saying. Yeah.
like show us that Anakin is doing these things, and Obi-Wan during the fight show his expressions to like in reaction to it, and then when it's all done, then say it, so that it's like we're picking that up as we're watching it, and then that's the conclusion,
I think what would
essentially.
have been very cool based on what you're saying is if at the end of their fight, even at the end of the show, if they broke it up and wove it into it the way they did, if at the end of that duel, Yoda walks in to teach Anakin to try and go over the fight and say, well, this
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That or Mace Windu or whatever. They could have done something there. And then also, like, I think this is an opportunity that I don't know if they realized was there. By the way, what's up, Rob? And in the
yeah,
chat, what's
Rob,
up, Rob? Um,
tell Animatrix.
like this is the first time they're showing like an Anakin versus Obi-Wan since Revenge of the Sith, essentially. And this is supposed to
Yeah.
take place more like probably at the very beginning of the Clone Wars, I
Mhm.
assume. Because it's before he has the shorter but long hair or whatever. Like
Yeah,
when he gets rid of the braid.
yep, pre-Clone Wars, I think.
Yeah, so it would have been interesting to see a couple of moves maybe that Obi-Wan does that he's able to like best Anakin in the moments in the fight that like obviously in the Revenge of the Sith they're more evenly matched and like Anakin's able to match or counter a lot of those moves. That would have been interesting to see a precursor of
Yeah.
like Obi-Wan having more skill and dominating in that sense, but then also like how Anakin deals with that. And I don't know. Like this was a good. Like I said, I like that it was here, but I feel like there could have been more. There could have been more substance to the fight. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, it's got you talking, and that's a good thing. That is.
Yeah, this is the most positive I've ever sounded about one of these
I know, I
shows.
love
With that.
it. I love to love it. That's what I want to do. I want to love it.
Yeah,
Um, And that did make me feel good. After last week's episode, and I turned it on this morning when I woke up, like the first thing I did was turn it on. And I was like, when that showed up, I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. It started off on a positive note. If you look at the last week's episode, you can imagine me going into this, especially if you guys had listened to our commentary on episode 4, you'll know that we were not in a good place, not in a good mood about it. But this was a good way to start.
Yeah, a much better start.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole thing, when Angus and I were watching it, I wish that we had recorded like a live reaction, sort of, because there's a lot of moments where we were like, "Oh, that's awesome! Oh, that's what you did after." Oh, there's a lot of like, "This looks good." Oh no, it isn't. This looks good. No, kind of squanders immediately. But we'll get to those as it goes. So next scene, we're on what planet are we on?
The next scene,
or is it? Does it go to Vader next, or does it go to the planet where Obi-Wan is?
You know what? I had it pulled up, and I was gonna slowly slide through it as we were talking about it. They have him them arriving back to, they just finished. Wade died in the last episode, and so whoever the hell Wade is.
Does that happen first, or does it go to Vader? Because is Vader thinking about this the whole time, or
it might be?
Yeah, okay. I think it goes back to Vader, and then he summons Reva, and then he summons Reva, and then he's like, "You've done well. Now kneel, and now you're the Grand Inquisitor. Okay, now go to the planet for me. Okay," and that's pretty much all that happens right there, as far as I can tell.
I don't know why, but I'm trying to turn it down. It doesn't turn down. That is the weirdest thing. So I'm sliding through. Yeah, they have the fight. You're right, and then it gets directly to Vader. And he's thinking and gets her to kneel. Yeah. So what do you think about the kneeling scene?
I mean, well, it was, I don't know, it just seemed like there wasn't much happening there. It was just like, you are now Grand Inquisitor. Now go to the planet.
Yeah, like I feel like, okay, having seen the whole thing, at the moment though, when I first saw that, I kind of thought it was cool, and I didn't really. But I still felt like I don't know why she's in this damn the show. Like, okay, she gets to be the Grand Inquisitor. They've already screwed up a lot of canon, and I'm trying to figure out why I like this storyline, this part of it. So I liked the idea, and I like that they got Vader's voice right. That's really important. Again, the music is lacking. They did use more of the John Williams Obi-Wan theme in the entire show, which was cool.
Did they like remix some of the sounds? Because
yeah,
like when Vader's march, when he's like on the planet, like it sounds familiar, but I'm like, this does not fit. Doesn't seem like it fits Star Wars here. I don't know, the pace it's playing. I don't know.
Yeah, they own the damn
weird
rights to use the music, so use the damn music. That's Vader's march, or even the Imperial theme. Dun 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 dun.
Yeah, just honestly, if just for some moments, it's fine to use them, but don't overuse it. But I feel like him landing to confront it, I don't know, that would have been a no-K scene to do that.
Yeah. Totally.
But like the whole thing is making me, I guess it's annoying because they're wanting us to focus on Reva, and she's just the most uninteresting. I mean, she could have been an interesting character, I think, but they're not like committing to her either. Like they sort of are wanting us to be with her, but not really. But then they are, but then they aren't. But then they're showing like Anakin and Vader's flashback. I'm sorry, not Anakin, Obi-Wan and Anakin's flashback. And I'm like, I kind of wish we're focusing more on Vader when we're with the bad guys.
Yeah.
But not like, he doesn't need to have a bunch of dialogue. But I mean, show him, again, this is like where like visual storytelling is your friend and stuff. Like, I don't know what he'd be doing specifically, but even if he had somebody else that can talk more around him, but like if he was searching for something or doing something, or hell, if he was training one of the Inquisitors, even like what is he taking out of it? Something that can add some substance to him and other characters around him. But like this scene was just this is what is in the script, and then we're done. it meant nothing.
Very corporate script, obeying. They obey the script. Like I feel like Reva could have been better, like you say. I think that her acting is a little subpar for me.
She tries to like, I'm tough. you know? And it's like,
Yeah.
no, I don't know. I don't believe it. Like tough Vader sounds tough because he looks intimidating and he like gives little quirky remarks, but it's like after they're dead. He's
Yeah.
just like, you know, yeah, apology accepted. It's just like,
Yeah.
oh,
After he's dead.
damn,
Yeah.
that's okay. That's something.
Yeah, this dude means business, like no doubt about it. So why is he so? If he already knew that this girl, I don't want to get to the end too quickly, but yeah, her existence for me is very just weird. It's just weird, and I feel like they stole the Darth Revan name and said, "All right, well, we're going to take it away from that old EU stuff, and we're going to make it Riva instead of Revan." So every time I hear her name, I'm just like, man, that's stolen. You know, that might just be me. That might be me.
Yeah,
I don't
I didn't really think about it in
her
that way,
story.
I suppose. But
Her storyline for me is not great. It's
yeah,
just
it's like, but it has potential, but it's just not. They're not doing enough substance with it. It's just kind of around.
yeah.
And again, like I don't understand her motivation for anything. If she's just trying to kill Vader, nothing leading up to this led me to believe that. So it's just that's
Well,
what
she's
she is doing. Okay.
done some horrible things apparently in order to get there. It doesn't really translate well to trying to just
See,
destroy.
it would have been like if it was like she's done horrible things, but also helped the rebels or something. Like she's killed a lot of innocent people and like done the dirty deeds, but in the same time able to do small helpings here and there to the
Mhm.
enemy or of the Empire,
Yep.
plant little seeds or plant other deceptions amongst something like that, you know, so that it can give her some agency and some uniqueness of a character that's not just I'm Riva.
I'm angry.
She
Agreed, man.
reminds me of Kylo Ren in a way, like
Uh huh.
the way that he gets angry. That's what she reminds me of.
Yes, overselling the anger. Very
Yeah,
Disney-fied villain. I guess that's what I would call
yeah, I suppose. But old Disney villains were great, so that's
it.
what
That's
sucks.
weird. That does suck, and they were classic Disney villains, and most of their animations have been really good, scary even.
Yeah.
And I had higher hopes for this episode because in the beginning they had a warning that some children may not want to. This was not intended for some children or whatever.
Oh, really?
At the beginning of the show, yeah, I was like, well, okay.
I totally dismissed that. I skipped skip immediately to the thing because I hate skipping through they're waiting through their things. But
Yeah, well, I thought Reva was gonna lop somebody's head off or something. I was like, no.
well, no. Do you know why they do that? Because Anakin, they show Anakin not a full shot, but they do show a better, clear indication of him slicing a youngling.
Yeah, they do. It's
Like they
fleeting.
show him swing, and they show a kid of whom obviously got cut in half. His head he's like his body, the way his body moves is he got cut in half, but you don't see the actual gut. You don't see his body in half, but
Yeah,
you see his top fall down as if
yeah,
he just got cut in half. He just killed
yeah,
him.
yeah. I guess
I was
that's
like,
true.
whoa, they killed the younglings. There we go.
I literally will have to watch that again. How did I miss that? Like that sounds cool. And not that I want to see kids dying. And
Yeah, but it's like for Anakin, his story, all that. Yeah,
yeah,
it's right there. That
that's
was funny, but anyway, so what? So that scene happens, and then we're on the planet finally,
yes, and
and they're all gathering around to leave.
and they suddenly the door. No, I don't know if where the
The,
door.
the the little bug, the ladybug droid that's under evil control because the lights are red, which means it's evil now.
Mhm.
Goes into a vent, and I don't know what it does, but it's in the vent, and that somehow stops it from working.
It starts playing with all those wires somehow without little arms, but it gets the door to close, the overhead door.
Yeah, or it prevents it from being opened or whatever.
Hmm.
It's like jammed or whatever.
And then,
And
hold on, what was his name? Ice Cube's son, Ice
let's just
T, or
call
whatever.
let's just call him Ice Cube because I don't know what his name is. I don't know what his character's name is.
Crushed Ice. I don't know, but anyway, that guy, he says, well, Obi-Wan Kenobi says something about I don't know, what he says, but then Crushed Ice guy goes, and they're a star destroyer just arrived in orbit above us. Like, how the hell do you know that? Like, if I'd rather there be somebody over on the side looking at a screen and call him over there, and then he says that. Like,
But you're talking about like when he just senses something and he's like, "Oh, they're coming."
Ice Cube says they're in a Star Destroyer above us right now. They just arrived.
Oh, right. Yeah, they're not showing us anything. They're just telling us that.
Yeah, exactly. And how in the world do they know that? I know it's little details that bother me, but I could forgive it. There was a lot of fun to be had in this episode. Not to say that the other ones don't still deserve, every word we've given them. And the following one, the very final one, is going to be all that great. But here's one thing I've noticed, and before we continue, I've noticed that Disney tends to make these shows, and then knowing that they're going to have a certain budget, because this is the corporate attitude, spend a certain amount on the base features, like what it's going to look like, what people are going to wear, and the script,
what fight scenes they might have.
Yeah, and this is also why I think that it was a crappy fight scene the first time we saw Obi-Wan and Vader, is they didn't have the money to pay the freaking choreographer to come out for that, or to create that whole choreography, or they just did a really bad job and thought they would not need the choreography. Either way, that's why it comes off cheap, because all these episodes start, they kind of lead up. You got one filler episode always, if not more, in Mandalorian or Boba Fett. But then you finally get up to the last few and they start dropping money into this or that particular episode. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then that's when you're like, oh, I don't know, this could be good. And then, of course, the end of the next one, the very end of the show, it's got to be good, man, or it won't matter how good this episode was.
Yeah, I mean, to me, this one had the most potential so far out of all of them, but to me, it still drops the ball. But it showed more signs of what could have been here, essentially, like a lot more of its potential. And so, yeah, so we're on the planet. They're trying to leave, and I guess I'm just kind of bored with a lot of the situations they keep on putting the characters in all these shows.
Yep.
It's just like, okay, so now they are trapped, and then they have to stall between a door, and then they can leave in their ship. Like that's the whole drama of the episode. And I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I kind of missed a speeder chase scene like from the Attack of the Clones, or something that shows some variety of like things happening.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan has to sneak into whatever places to, he has to go discover a freaking clone army, and there's a, bounty hunter there, and you got to get him and follow him to this droid place. You know what I mean? It's like that. Those are interesting to see things happening, but these are always like, we have to be a spy and get by the Imperial thing. Will it work? Okay. Can we sneak by them? Or we're trapped behind a door. Can we get it open, or can we prevent them from coming in? That's like all the situations that they keep on setting up, and I'm just
all those situations
getting really annoyed. Or the chase scenes are just boring too. They're just like, oh, this is mundane.
Yeah, I feel like the director comes in, no matter what show it is. If it's a Star Wars Disney show, the director comes in, okay, guys, today we're going to be escaping from the Imperial something. We're going to get trapped behind this thing, and then one of the droids is going to turn into a red eye droid. And I think that probably happens in each show so far.
Probably.
One of those things, for sure, or multiple times. Okay, so after that, Obi-Wan Kenobi gets a call from Bail, so he goes and takes his call, quietly. It's a one-way call. He's receiving a message, I guess.
He left a message at the town, right?
Yeah, he did. Bail left a message at the town, and this is where it kind of took me out of it, because here's Bail again talking about, if I don't hear from you, I'll go to Tatooine to watch the boy. You mean you're not there now? I mean, Obi-Wan Kenobi, that was his one job. So since you can't do your job, he's covering yours. You should be over there covering his already. Why are the writers so stupid?
That's a great question. That's one that will never be answered, really.
Oh, I can't wait to get to the end. I've got a real good one for that. But anyway, that really bothered me. It's not the end of the world. It's overlookable because the rest of the episode is pretty tight. But it is one of those things that took me right out, and I'm thinking about Luke and why am I not watching?
Well, it's like it's not just that. So it's like every single decision that Obi-Wan makes while he's not on Tatooine is like putting his mission at risk.
Mm-hmm.
But he makes the decisions as if it's not putting them at risk. Like you're supposed to survive this and train Luke and protect him. But if you get killed doing any of these things here, then you're fucked.
Yeah, and he's
So why
serious.
like
he's in a serious situation,
yeah.
putting his
It's
life in jeopardy. Yeah.
yeah. All right. So then I feel like nothing really happens until the Empire arrives with the starship.
Yeah.
Like not much happens. I guess there's some conversation I think with him and the spy chick, but they're really trying to get us to like her. I don't care. I mean, she seems like the character archetype of her seems fine, but like it just for this show, I don't understand why.
I wish they made her a love interest, but how do you do that, right? How do you?
Well, I wouldn't have mind if she was liking him and
Yeah,
he's just like he's Monk. It's like no,
yeah. Took
and
him.
she's like, oh, I love you.
Yeah, and
Thanks. Or maybe he's using her, making her think that it's fine. But no, I'm just using you to help get this all done so I can go home.
right. And when she's making these advances, he has like a thought process of the Duchess Satine. I think that would have been cool to have a little flashback of him and the Duchess right there because I don't know. I know it's not the most exciting thing. Like, hey, if I said I wanted to see Anakin and Padme hanging out, but I think it would have played more to both her character and Obi-Wan's and why he's trying to, continue his
Yeah,
celibacy.
there would have been a lot of cooler things if they focused more on Obi-Wan and like him essentially. Like
Yeah,
if he met up with a buddy, like oh he's like in this whole show he's got like a buddy. I heard like Mahler and them talking about this, and it's like yeah if he had like a buddy that he's help that they're working together with throughout the show, and then by the end of it like the buddy discovers he is a Jedi, like not knowing he's a Jedi before, and he might squeal the Empire, and Obi-Wan has to kill him or
oh
something.
damn,
It's
that,
like that would be intense, but like his mission he put higher than him being found out.
yeah.
So that would be him doing something kind of dark, and that would be interesting commentary if Darth Vader were to have seen something like that with Obi-Wan. Oh,
Mhm.
was that Obi-Wan, huh? Or something like not understanding the context of why he did it, but well, you killed your best friend. What was that for, huh? Like,
Well, let's not forget that Darth Maul is alive in this era. He's
oh
out there.
yeah, I don't think they remember that he's alive or Ahsoka.
I guess not. Ahsoka would have
That
been
was
good.
that's somebody else that Bale could have contacted to
Exactly.
do something because she was actually a high member of the rebellion at that point, I think.
Yeah, he could have been
So
like, "Hey, Obi-Wan, I need your help," and him and his wife stand there, and he's like, "Yo, I can't do this. I gotta watch Luke." And they're like, "Oh, we don't know what we'll do without you." And he goes, "Why don't you get Ahsoka?"
well, no, Obi-Wan doesn't know about Ahsoka being alive. I don't think.
I guess not. I guess that.
I guess.
But if he
Yeah.
does, I mean, how would we?
I think they just like to forget things.
Yeah.
They'll just, oh, there's other things in shows. I don't want to think about that.
Well,
Just-
all right. When they're arriving in Alderaan on episode 4, and it's been totally blown away. Right before they arrive, Kenobi goes, the Alec Guinness Kenobi. He's like, oh, and he just sits down, and Luke's like, what is it? He's like, I just felt a disturbance in the Force, as if thousands of people cried out or whatever in pain. And I'm thinking, okay, so you can sense a planet's worth of people, but you can't sense that there are other Force sensitive people that you knew, that you helped train, that were your buddies anywhere in the galaxy. Like, I feel like he would know.
well, they literally did feel it. Like during Order 66, they felt them die.
Yeah, yeah. So you can feel them die, but you can't feel them being alive.
I mean, unless they're able to suppress it, I don't know. That gets confusing. That actually gets confusing to the description of how the Force works.
Yeah, I don't think
guess.
Disney understands how the Force works very well. But there's no arguing that. We all know that.
Yeah.
Okay, but I did think it was cool that once he got that little talk from Bail Organa and I could let it go, that they moved the story forward rather quickly, got right to the action again.
Yeah. So the Empire arrives. They have like a bunch of stormtroopers. They make this scene like really long as the troopers pile up in front of the door, and Reva comes in, and they set up a little turret thing and start battering away at it, I guess. And
yeah, she wasn't impressive with her acting there. Fire, light them up.
Fire!
Fire!
Okay.
Light them up!
And Obi-Wan, so they send Leia into the vents because she's small enough to fit in the vents to go see what's wrong with the door being jammed.
Oh, but let's not forget, Crushed Ice was like, I'm not sending the girl up in that vent to do something she don't know how to do. And everyone's like, trust her. I do.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah,
thinking, 10 fucking years old, man. What are you talking about? Trust her. She
yeah.
can go up in there and get fried herself.
Yes, that's actually a risk. I feel like they did that so that she's out of danger this entire episode.
Yeah.
So to explain how she's out of harm's way. She's fine. Because whenever they cut back to her, nothing else has really changed. She's just still fiddling around. There's nothing different at all. Nothing to gain from it.
Mhm.
When they go to her, it's like, okay, that's okay.
Yeah.
And Obi-Wan, when he was doing the scene here on this, I don't know, his acting seemed very flat. Just with this scene, I don't know, like when he's talking with them on this, when he's trying to give like a speech,
Yeah.
when he's giving a speech, he was
Oh,
like,
everyone.
I was like, dude, this is like the most depressing speech I've ever heard
It was
from
pretty
somebody. He's
graphic.
like, we do not have to die or something, and we just got to hold them off
If we work
enough.
together.
I was like, wow, this is like, wow. If I'm supposed to, like, I'm looking at Lord of the Rings, death, death. That's already more motivating than anything Obi-Wan said. And it was like,
Yeah.
okay, but then he's like, I'm gonna go talk to her, and then he
Don't
approaches the
quit.
door. The what?
He's like, don't quit. He goes, you can't just throw all this away. I've worked too hard for it. And he's like, I'm just gonna go fight him. You're gonna fight him? And he's
Oh, yeah,
like,
they had a
yes.
whole conversation about that. That was really weird too.
Yeah. And then he's like, as a matter of fact, here's all my weapons. He's like, but you need your weapons. He's like, there's other ways to fight.
Oh yeah. Oh god. Oh, that was weird. He just gives him everything,
That's like
including the
Rocky.
message, including Bale's message. That's
Yeah,
also very weird.
why?
And also the guy, the fake Jedi guy, like him being here just totally takes me out of it.
It makes no sense.
Every time he speaks as if he's not in Star Wars at all.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
like when his first dialogue when Obi-Wan was there, he was like, "Oh yeah, I had to face." He's like, "Oh, why are you here?" He's like, "Oh, that scary chick was. Oh my god." I'm like, I don't know. The way you're speaking is not like you're in this universe. Like the way you're talking is weird.
I
And
totally got in a fight with this scary Inquisitor lady, and then I had to run because I'm wanted by the Empire now. So here I am. Oh, good business opportunity here. Like, I think he's supposed to be comedy relief, but
yeah, I think that's what they're going for. But he takes me out of it. In
yeah,
this, especially when they're trying to be serious, but then he's there. And I'm just like, I don't know. It's not the right kind of levity, I guess.
not really. But I will say I'm at least glad that they didn't use C-3PO yet again in a Star Wars show to be that character. Not that I hate C-3PO. It's just, there's overdoing, the use of the droids. So that worked a little bit better on that end, but it still took me out of it too.
Yeah. And then they have like a weird force talk between the door, I guess, or they're just talking to each other. I'm not sure. It's like she's like, if you're stuck, the way she's talking there is like trying to sound scary, I guess, but it just sounds silly to me. I don't know. Between her rah type of attitude and then her trying to be soft, like I don't know. It just all seems weird the way she does it. And
I
then he's
thought,
like,
yeah.
yeah, and then he's just like, "Yo, how do you even know Anakin, huh?" I'm glad they at least kind of addressed that,
Yes.
sort
Yeah.
of, but I still feel like her knowing it at all is still kind of stupid. I don't know, with the way she explains how she became an Inquisitor. Still, I don't know. It's still weird. So she says Obi-Wan comes in, or not Obi-Wan, Anakin comes in, slicing up all the younglings and stuff, and she plays dead,
Yeah.
even though he's like looking right at her, I guess.
Yeah.
The way they shot it was that he sees her right there. So
In hindsight, like after having seen the end again, I've seen the whole thing twice. It looks like Anakin does stab her in the stomach. There's a lot of stabbing in the stomach, and now it's the new you fall from a really high thing and you're a Jedi, you can
it's just
live.
a flesh wound. If you get
Now
stabbed
you
in the
can, yeah,
stomach, you'll
now
be
you can,
fine. You
you
can
can
walk it off.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, gutting now. It's not a big deal. Fish can do it. We can do it.
yeah, totally. It's totally fine.
If you're an Inquisitor, you can get stabbed in the stomach. It'll be good. But
Well,
anyway,
oh yeah, Starface brings up a good point here. I actually didn't even see. There's a lot of other things I was focusing on that were kind of stupid in the way they're
that's what I was
talking.
just gonna say. Why?
I was like, oh yeah, there's stormtroopers right fucking there.
Can't they hear?
I totally forgot they're there. I totally forgot they're even there while they're
That's
talking.
exactly what I was about to bring up. Thank you, Starface.
Yeah,
So
did she say in the scene that she wants to kill Vader? I totally missed it. I don't remember. I was kind of laughing.
It was clear because he's like, why didn't you stop him? And he's like, why didn't you save us? Why didn't you save us? And she says that to him. He says, why?
Hold on. Yeah, because you just reminded me. Yeah, that was why I wasn't thinking about that other stuff, because she says, why didn't you save us, Obi-Wan? And blah, blah, blah. And in my head, I'm like, okay, Obi-Wan should go, bitch, I just killed General Grievous.
Right?
I got betrayed by my clone. My whole clone army is against me now.
Where were
And then I was able to sneak off and find my way back and then discover that everyone else I know is fucking getting killed. Sorry, I couldn't fucking save your bitch asses in the temple. You know, I know that I kill every Sith ever, but Jesus Christ. That's
right?
what I was going to say.
He could have blown the doors off, bitch slapped her with the back of his hand.
That's what I was thinking when she said that. God, shut up, bitch. But he never counters. That's what I hate. He never counters that.
No, he goes and does the emotional acting job.
He goes like, oh, I am to blame, huh? Oh my God, not in this case. You're justified here. You killed Grievous, and then you got betrayed in the middle of the mission. You're still trying to fight the droids.
There's a whole thing about Revenge of the Sith how Anakin wanted to go with him, but they wouldn't let him. That's when they say, thank you. He says, thank you, Master. Like, obviously, it's not your fucking fault. Just that conversation you had with Anakin before you left to go kill Grievous should be enough to make you realize that. And then the stormtroopers and the rebels are all right there. They're all right there, man.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it would be cool. That's funny, Starface. Yeah, I noticed.
45-year-old Padawan Skywalker. That's a good one.
But yeah, so like that, what would have worked for me, I think, and anybody, is if they'd done like forced talking through their head, like talking through their minds. I think that would have been dope if we could have heard them talking, like, and it was like through their head or something.
Well, it's like if the blasters from the tank is like it's like doing more damage to the door while they're talking, and it's like, oh fuck, it's ticking clock while they're talking, trying to do it, and the people are trying to rush out, and there could be some more tension in there a little bit. But
well, you just said something that also reminded me of the next stupidest part about this scene. Is she comes up, she's like, they're showing this giant gun, the stormtroopers are loading it. They blast this thing like 2 or 3 times with her. Kill it,
stabs it.
Then she stabs it like
it's butter. She stabs it like it's butter.
Why don't you just do that
with the door? Yeah, they pound away with this huge laser turret at the door, and then she just stabs it once and cuts it a little, and it just opens up. Open sesame.
Yep.
The guns must have weakened it for her, right?
Extremely weakened it, I guess. The inside locking mechanism wasn't working all of a sudden. How about that? And then you've got 200, 50 stormtroopers shooting directly into this hole. And I don't recall seeing maybe one person got hit.
I think they showed 3 people get hit, but it was mostly stormtroopers getting killed. And I was like, this is fish in a barrel.
Yeah, for both.
Even if all the stormtroopers suck at shooting, just based on probability, they'd hit more people.
Yeah, bro, look, put yourself in a position with just not like this, but real guns. If there's 20 people on your team and 21 people on the other team, and you're both in this corridor shooting at each other, you're all going to fucking die. Except a couple of guys in the back that run away. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah. Fresh News says, best 40 minutes of Star Wars since the Christmas special.
Yeah. I love that.
If only, yes.
I did love some of it. It's not cohesive. It's nothing I can embrace. And
I feel like it's surface level love here, because it's like the visuals look nice, and some moments were like had a lot of potential to be cool, but then they weren't. Like I said, at the live reaction, if I were to have recorded, I was like, oh, what? Like, I was like, this is almost cool. Oh, this is kind of what? Like that was my reactions throughout it. Was like, this could be all right, and then it turns out to not be.
Mm-hmm. I find myself saying the same things when I'm watching. I'm like, oh, and then I stop and I'm like, oh yeah, you went ahead and did that, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
I hate that. But it was.
And what's up, Jedi Dick Sensei? coming in here,
Risers!
and Brandon Looney Tune fan, fresh news. Good seeing you guys here. Channel Starface, Rob Rules. Good seeing you guys. Good seeing you guys. Didn't you guys ever watch A-Team or G.I. Joe cartoon? Whenever nobody gets hit.
Yes.
I mean, I haven't, but I know what you're talking about, and I mean, I know it's fine, but I guess I'm more annoyed. Like they keep on taking that stormtroopers suck to the nth degree. Like they were already portrayed as not that great by Return of the Jedi,
Yeah.
but but then they just keep on getting worse and worse and worse and worse, and it's like they're not supposed to be that incompetent. They're
Yeah, it
supposed
gets
to be. I can't believe that they rule the galaxy. This is they're so incompetent. It's unbelievable.
it gets to a point where they're even making fun of it in The Mandalorian with the 2 scout troopers where they
Yeah,
pull up.
when they did that, it was like this can't be. They even think that they all suck.
Yeah.
That's ugh.
But that was played for fun. When you literally have fish in a barrel situations, you can't do that. Like, okay, if you compare Rogue One to this or almost any other Star Wars movie, the stormtroopers in Rogue One were fairly accurate. They were blowing people out of the sky. They were blowing people away on the ground.
I mean, I feel like they still had lots of moments where they made stormtroopers really dumb where they shouldn't have been, like a shit ton, especially earlier in that film. But you're
Mhm.
right. At least toward the end, they started to kill the characters.
Yes.
So they were able to do something, which like I said, I don't even think Rogue One was good, but they do this type of thing at least better than in these shows.
Yeah.
Like I would say. And
it's
yeah,
so
go
weird.
ahead.
Disney will do a show where they show people get stabbed with lightsabers or blown away by blaster bolts or whatever. They showed a boy and his dad get killed by Darth Vader. One had his neck cracked. So I'm like, okay, why in some shows are you willing to do this but not others when the script specifically is going to call for important deaths? Yes, they did kill Tala. Spoiler alert. They ended up killing Obi's
Oh, was
potential.
that her name? I thought it was just Spy Chick. I literally had no idea what her name was.
Yeah.
Just
It was
Spy
Tala.
Chick.
Tala. I don't know. So that was cool. They did shoot her like in the side of the stomach, and then she blew herself up or whatever, and they killed her droid.
Well, hold on. The droid was like in the front of the stormtroopers' fire for like 5 minutes, and they did not hit it like once, and then it finally got killed.
And then it finally got killed like with a whole bunch of shots. So that big old thing was out there. He literally had, or it had, I just want to get the pronouns right, excuse me, but it had a lot of stormtroopers around it. But you're right, they weren't shooting
They're
it.
just kind of ignoring him. Like,
Yeah, it's very strange.
and they tried to have the girl have like a oh, I'm going down, with the shit moment or something, and I was like, I mean, I guess that's fine. And when she had the thermal detonator, I thought it would have been funny if Riva was like, "Oh, that's cute," and then like does like a force thing to contain it to just blow up her.
Hell yeah! Or
just like,
the damn
oh,
thing
that didn't do anything. Oh, okay.
remember in those little videos where for the game, can't remember the name of the game, Star Wars: The Old Republic or whatever, where Darth Bane gets his face half blown off and he looks even more evil because of it.
I think so.
Bane, I don't remember what the name of the guy is. It's been a minute. But if that Tala blows everybody up with the thermal detonator, that would have been dope if half of Reva's face got ripped off and she was just dark as hell looking. That would have been so cool. So then you would have had the duality like what's his name in Batman? The split face, Two-Face. Yeah. So she would have had that duality physically on her. So her face would be half ripped off, and that's the dark side of her. And then the light side of her, would be.
He says it was Darth Magus or Malgus.
Malgus. That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. That was cool. Because I love watching those. I'll just turn them on YouTube and just watch that whole hour-long thing that people cut together. It's dope.
Yeah.
Some of the best Star Wars.
I think you're talking about the online Republic game, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That might be the one. But yeah, so the stormtroopers break in. They're now just further within the cave, I guess, and still waiting around to leave. And then Vader shows up, and again, we already commented on the music earlier, but the music just seemed like it was like moving at a faster pace and didn't seem like it fit
Yep.
very well to me. Like they even had the Imperial March, like you said, but it was like dun 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 dun. Like it seemed like it was faster, and I'm like, I hate that pace. It
I'll
doesn't
have
seem, it doesn't fit Vader. You know, he's a slow walker, and like you know, you don't need to show him walk from the ship to the cave. Just show him arrive and then in the cave. You know, you don't need to show the whole walk.
Well, after he gives himself up, right? Has that little talk with her again
Oh,
outside.
you're right. I skipped ahead. You're right. You're right.
No, it's fine. I was thinking, was there anything else? So I was right there with you. But now that I think about it, he goes and gives himself up, and of course they do the same thing we were just complaining about earlier, where he's standing. I mean, he's kneeling right there, talking to her about, you know, being a traitor, and none of the troopers react at all. I'm like,
well, doesn't he say, I brought him? She says he's coming for you. Then he says, I'm bringing. You say I'm bringing him to you, or what do you say?
yeah. Oh,
I'm bringing you. I'm bringing you to him, or something like what?
You got it right the first time. I'm bringing you to him, and then they have a conversation about how she can help him, and then she whispers, like, I mean, there's like 50 stormtroopers around her. 2 of them look like they're Jedi fighter type guys, and she gets up near Obi-Wan and she goes, "What makes you think?" She says, "What makes you think I'll be able to do it or whatever?" Or I, you know, and he's like, "Because he'll be blinded by his anger for me." Now I'm obviously not saying the right words, but that was the
Oh yeah, that does. Oh my god, I just, this conversation went over my head entirely. I was talking about something else when they were talking, so I didn't catch it. Wow. Okay, so yeah, that's part of the why the flashbacks, I guess, right? Like,
right.
and then his anger in general for burning him to a crisp and turning him into a little popsicle corpse,
Yeah,
little thingy. Wow. Okay.
yeah,
I
and
mean, I guess that makes sense that he'd hate Obi-Wan, but the way that they set this up was like there was no plan though either.
no,
It was just, I hope I can kill him, I guess.
yeah, like how, like I think the confrontation with her, you know, sneaking up on Vader, we're not quite there, and I do want to address that, but it should have been done differently.
Yeah, the way Angus and I were talking about it was like it would have been. We do not want more fights between Vader and Obi-Wan. We don't. But if that's what they would want or are trying to do, like this would have been like even if it was a stalling tactic. Like if Obi-Wan's like, "Oh, I'm gonna fight you, Vader," and then you know Reva comes in and like helps out or something, and then this would be another Obi-Wan moment. That's like he goes, "I'm just gonna let her be killed so that I can get away, and so I can protect Leia and Luke."
Pretty much.
Like that would be fine with me because that would be showing his mission over like these other people is like I helped her like you know come to terms with her crap and then she's gonna die for it. But you know, at least she's
That's
not dying as a Sith, I guess.
that's life. May the force be with you.
Yeah, that's the way you said. That's funny. It's like you know, good luck in hell. Essentially,
Is what it is.
that's funny. And yeah, so after they have their little talk, when he surrenders, quote unquote. It doesn't. She sends him back into the cave, right?
Yeah,
And
with
then they
2
close the door,
stormtroopers.
and they close the door behind him, right?
Nothing's gonna happen. Those stormtroopers will be perfectly fine with a Jedi
Wait,
Master.
so it was like all the stormtroopers are outside, and then she sends him back into the cave, and they seal the doors behind them. So
Yeah,
it's just him and 2 stormtroopers in the cave, right?
right. Which he just
I can't believe that. That's so retarded. I thought there was at least like 20 more in the cave, and I don't know why they closed the door even.
I guess you could look at it like this, although
Isn't the door supposed to be broken?
it wasn't obvious enough. But I think she was agreeing with Obi-Wan at that point. Like, I can't say anything in front of the troopers, but I can send you into this little room with 2 of them, and you know, if you're a master, you'll live. I feel like that's the case.
I guess that could be the case, but again, it doesn't feel like a very well thought out plan either. So it's just like, and like you said, in front of the stormtroopers. I don't get this.
If I was one of the TKs, I'd be like, "Hey, you know, he's a Jedi Master. You're kind of putting him in a little closed area with just
There should be at least 10 troopers pointing at him at all fucking
at
times,
all times." Absolutely, especially the 2 black troopers because they're Jedi hunters.
or like snipers on him, something like
Mhm.
you know, even electric things. Those that seem to hurt Jedi, like a shocky thing,
Mhm.
you know, something
Yeah,
like that to at least do
like that.
something,
Some other
incapacitate him for a sec.
like those. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like a stick with shocky stick or something.
Cattle prawn, whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Shocky stick.
Some kind.
What are we talking about? But yeah, so like they stuck him in a room. Like, wow. As soon as it happened, I was like, "What are you doing?" And I guess I didn't read it right. Maybe. Still not sure if I'm reading it right. But anyway, then Vader arrives, and that's where we are.
Oh, yeah, Vader arrives. Starface says, so the troopers just let Reva release Kenobi through. Yeah, that's what we're saying. That's what we're trying to establish. Was like, did she just seriously just send him in through the blast doors with 2 troopers, and then it's like, yeah, okay, I guess he'll get away now. And Vader arrives, like you said, and then he just waltzes through. And then he's like, "Where's my Obi-Wan?" And then he goes through the rest of the cave, and then he sees a ship taking off. And Angus and I were like, he should be able to stop this, right? And then he does. We're like, this was one of the moments where we're like, yes, they actually did something that they established that people can do. Like, if they establish that freaking Ray can even do it, you can't just have him not do it, if you're going to do that.
Man.
So he does pull it down and yanks the fucker down, like easy. And then he rips open the wall. So it's like, oh shit, he's not giving any quarter here. And then there's nothing there. And then another ship takes off and lickety split. And we were like, well, why couldn't he just do the force on that one?
Drained, maybe?
Well, it was right next to him. It was right there.
Maybe he was drained. Here.
No, he wasn't drained because he fights Reva in a sec using a shit ton of force stuff. He's fine. Like
maybe the angle was bad.
Like it just the way it was cut was like, oh, he was distracted by this, but then that one got away. But I'm like, no, but it was like right. It was in the same hangar. Like what?
Now I know physics are different, but the G's that they pulled to get out of there, like holy shit!
It looked weird, didn't it? It looked weird, right?
Yeah, it was weird. It was weird. To be honest with you, man, I'm not real keen on the overpowered Vader.
I'm not either. But like, if they're like, I guess it's the
cool.
Them adding that type of continuity, like having that in a video game is one thing, but then when they made that a real thing with like Rey, it's like, well, now you just can't have it be where he's too weak to do it,
True. And you can't. Okay, so when Vader fights people, if he can rip apart a starship like that, like it's butter, he should just easily be able to rip someone from the inside out and just pull their skull to him. Like, I mean, geez. Like,
also, like, so they planned to have a whole ship as a decoy. I didn't even know they had like they could. I don't know. So like Rob. So my point here is like this was a very uninteresting scene. It was almost interesting, but then it just kind of wasn't. And it's like if they're trying to outflank Vader, it would have been more interesting, I would think, if they like, I don't know, sent a droid to like suicide bomb him or something.
Dude,
and it distracts him for just enough that they can get away. Not even bothered with the force pulling from the ship or something. Would have been something.
As much as I thought at first, I was like, he's gonna do it. I was very, I had a similar reaction. I looked at it and I was like, motherfucker, pull that down, and they did. And so I was rewarded immediately, but I still felt like dirty afterwards. I was like, ashamed that happened. Like, why did I ask for that, and why did it happen?
Yeah, same here. I was like, I don't know. And then just answering Robert here, he says the distance is why, but no, like in Rise of Skywalker, they showed like Rey do it from way the hell further away than the ship.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think the distance matters. It's kind of like a Yoda thing. It's like size matters not. I don't think distance matters not really. Force chokes people from starship. I don't know. I feel like with honestly, I wish this wasn't even a thing, but they made it a thing.
They made it a thing.
Now it's a thing to talk about, which is unfortunate because it goes into it's unnecessary discussions now. But it's discussed because they did it in their own canon now. So.
It looked cool visually. It looked cool. I like the way Cotton Candy looks.
And if it was like a speeder, I think I'd be more okay with it.
A speeder, yeah, it makes total sense.
And then a whole ship that's supposed to go into space, and he rips through it like butter with the Force. It's kind of like
transport, man. Yeah, like what?
Like if you could do that, I mean, what else aren't you doing that you should be doing?
Yeah, that you should be doing. Like no door at all should ever be a problem to him.
Like they're doing the blasters, he just go, I'll just go through it, whatever. Gets nothing.
Yep, and that fire in episode 2 or 3, I can't remember which one.
Yeah, episode 3, he's just like, oh, I can't get through the fire, man. Even though he put out the fire with the Force
already
earlier, and then he just doesn't hear.
And then
that one.
Yeah, so weird. And I mean, I've heard arguments online of people saying, well, the reason that he did that is to let him go. He wasn't strong enough to fight him and he wanted a challenge. Bullshit. They would have made that very clear. Like the troopers would have been trying to, get over there, and Vader would have been like, stand down, let him gain more strength or something. Just be clear about it. Don't be vague enough to be where people are like, why isn't Vader doing something?
Well, and then also just on top of all of this, man, it's like, isn't there a starship in orbit?
Oh, right.
So how can they just get away? We just got away. They show in all these episodes, like, you still have to deal with the other ships. You have to do something to get around them.
Yeah.
And this is like, no, we can just get out now. We got out of the hangar, so we're free. And
Vader goes super vicious, starts break dancing with a lightsaber, totally dominates Reva, and walks away while she's still unconscious and breathing.
We're almost there. We're almost there. I'm just commenting on the ship thing again, because like they're telling us, they're even telling us so much that he really wants to kill Obi-Wan. He's probably the most important Jedi left that they could kill.
Mm-hmm.
And did they only send the one starship?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think they'd at least have like 3 to like somewhat blockade it a little, to like, if there's any escape attempt, you kill anything that moves.
Standard Empire operating protocol. You have three Star Destroyers to blockade.
Like, just something like to prevent the Jedi from leaving, especially Obi-Wan freaking Kenobi.
Yeah, exactly.
And I would think they'd do whatever precautions to kill him if this is their main thing. Seems to be what they're doing, is what they're telling us. That's their main shit. They're important. He dropped everything else to try to kill Kenobi, so nothing else seems to be going on.
Even if this was run by some spacefaring confederacy, they'd be like, man, we got Obi-Wan freaking Kenobi, man. Send about 5 ships. Send all of them.
Yes, exactly. Send Mater, send Tater, send everybody go kill them. That's what we're going to do.
You won't send Tater? Oh, my God.
I know, right?
That's a big boy. But yeah, then we come back to Vader standing there. And because of the way it's cut, it feels like the ship is long gone. He's just staring at the sky for a few minutes.
Yeah.
And here's where she comes. And I thought she would just light the saber up behind him and go in through his back. But how silly of me. She screams and turns on the lightsaber, then raises it over her head to come down at him. Like, there's 3 real big warning signs that you're about to get hurt. And you don't do that to an evil Dark Lord of the Sith. You don't scream before you kill him. You don't light your lightsaber up on your way. So that
lions don't roar before they attack you. They just attack you and you're dead.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you never hear the shot that kills you. That's something that they say in sniper school. So, and the reason is because they're usually so far away, the bullet travels faster than the sound.
Yeah.
Gun being fired. And I think that's probably like that for a very good reason in real war. So when you're going to duel somebody, screaming at them before you surprise attack them is probably a good way to let them know that you're on your way.
I like the way that Starface puts it. All she has to do is point the lightsaber at him and turn it on.
It's what I was saying.
That would at least increase your chances, because there wouldn't be the hum of the lightsaber or her foot's. I don't know. There's just a lot of it that's like, I don't know. This is what I was saying about there not being any plan to actually attack him. Obi-Wan is counting on her to somehow kill Vader. Okay. Which also is kind of dumb to me. I don't understand. Like, I would have rather this have been he tries to take this opportunity to possibly kill Vader, and or if he's trying to talk to him or kill him, whatever, it takes the opportunity to, and then it fails. And then, you chooses to sacrifice her so that he can get away and continue his mission. Like, that would have been more interesting to me and more of a character development thing of like, this was kind of a dark thing you did, but for, the greater good here.
Yeah. It would have been cool if when she gets defeated also, all right, or defeated, I guess. I mean, it was kind of a cool fight. There was some decent choreography here. I was happy with that. Although I just felt like her being in this still, I was just like, who is this? Why is she here again?
It was an empty fight. It was just like, okay, she is swinging a lightsaber at Vader and he is blocking it with the Force.
Yeah, I was like, Vader looks cool. Who the fuck is this? You know,
Well,
like,
it's like he looks cool, but it also it would have felt cooler if her character was interesting.
of course, if
But
there
it
was,
wasn't. So it was just like he's just toying around, I guess, as she swings, and he's just blocking and shoving her away a little bit and not really doing anything. And like so, at first it looked cool at first to me, but then after like 10 seconds, I was like, okay,
I think she
like
suffers from what similarly happened to Ray. She didn't go through any real failures and trials and tribulations. Like, she just is very good at what she does, and anyone in her way, she just stabs them with a lightsaber or beats them up. Like, I just would have, her character would have benefited from a lot of development early on. Like, if we knew, because I think into the show, the rumors were that she was going to be a Padawan. She'd be almost killed, but not killed. But then in the beginning, I didn't even know there was a girl in that group of kids. I just saw a bunch of group of kids, and I was so interested in the Jedi lady and the clones. I was like, that's cool. What's this have to do with the show? I just don't think they were very clear. And I think if following that child for a little bit in the beginning, 10 minutes, and understanding that, and then, that she went through quite a lot and she lost people she loved or something. And then she fails along the way trying to get to Obi-Wan, almost gets found out by Vader, but then doesn't, and then they have this fight. I'd be like invested, but I'm just not invested at all.
imagine if like one of the clones is like, here, come here, kids, we'll save you, and then it's like, no, starts killing them, and she's got to kill like the stormtrooper or clone trooper that was like a friend or something, something
Right.
something that can fuck up a kid like mentally
Yeah.
a bit, and like it maybe doesn't scar her face in like a way that where she'd have to wear a mask, but like in a way that shows, oh, you've been through some shit,
Yeah.
because she
Yeah.
seems so clean too, and it's like I don't know why she's so clean.
That's why I was saying a half blasted off face would have really showed the duality.
It may sound weird, but mutilations and like injuries on faces, scars can really help at least surface level visuals on a character to give us something with them. Yeah, like that they've been through some shit. She
Yeah.
looks like she just got out of like college. And it's like, oh, everything was fine. Okay, cool.
Can we wrap this up? I have a date at 0800, so come on.
Yeah, he's giving me pancakes.
Yeah. I'm on my period, so I'm pissed.
The Starface says to mute the scene and play Michael Jackson with
which song?
the background.
I want to know which song. I'm going to do that later. Which one particularly did you like? Bad, I'm Bad? Is that the song?
Beat It probably would be fine too, some.
Yeah, that'd be good.
But so, and then he just, she uses her stupid lightsaber, her helicopter lightsaber, and is like, well, I'm going to beat you. And then he just like breaks it apart.
I swear to God, I thought she was going to helicopter up into the air.
I'm just glad that he broke it. I'm like, yeah, yes, break the stupid thing. I hate that lightsaber.
I was totally invested with the Vader side of the fight.
Yes. And then he stabs her, I guess. He stabs her, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Which we all know is just a flesh wound. She'll be fine.
Totally lived through that.
And then they reveal the real Grand Inquisitor is still alive. And he's just like, haha, you're dumb. Give me my badge back. And then like kind of teabags her and leaves. I guess they just leave her without killing her.
Why? Why do you leave the person appearing alive at all? Like Vader, I remember he's standing there letting the fucking the white guy Grand Inquisitor, pontificate about his victory of living through just a flesh wound apparently, and then saying you're nothing but garbage, gutter trash, and gets this thing and stands up next to Vader and he says, we're through with you, or whatever the hell he says. And Vader turns and leaves. And I'm like, and throws a bomb, or nope, nothing happened.
It would have been funny here if he like starts dragging her with the Force, and it's like, it's like, you kind of represent one of the oldest ways of the Jedi, cowardly to the end and something like that. And it's like, I'm going to kill you, but I'm going to make you suffer a little first. You're being one of the last remnants, and you fudged up my opportunity to get back at Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm going to make you suffer a bit. And it's like, just walks off with like, he's force choking, dragging her through the ground or something. It's like, okay, that that's gonna suck. And we don't see her get killed, but we know she's gonna die.
Yeah,
It's like that would be something. You know, have him with one of his witty comments.
yes, of course, which would have been fine because at least they would have been killing a character that nobody really gave a shit about and nobody wants to see in another show. But they're gonna do it, and that's why you didn't kill him. Her.
Yeah.
That's why.
Also, hold on, while she's you're right. So she's on the ground, and she sees the Bail Organa message on the ground, the text message, or the message at the tone. And so, does that mean she's gonna go to Tatooine?
Exactly. But she's gonna be fine. She's gonna hop in a back to tank, have a couple of cool dreams about hanging out with Boba Fett, and then next thing you know, she's gonna ride a bantha all the way to Tatooine. I'm sorry. Yeah. But yeah, like she will. I mean, it's like the rumor. A lot of the rumors have come true, if not all of them, really.
Pretty much so far, yeah.
She'll show up, and Luke will see a red lightsaber and a bad guy Sith person type thing, and that'll be exciting. And then from there on, he'll want to be joining the Imperial Academy to fly T-16s.
And he really shouldn't. Nothing should happen with Luke at all because he doesn't like as far as like anything like this because he grew up with a boring life.
Yeah,
like maybe things can happen, but not like this. No, exactly. Like not directly with the Empire like that. No.
Shouldn't happen. Nothing. PKL, you want to read that?
Yeah, so he says, "Hi team, how are you? This episode was undone by too many stupid moments. Reva surviving a lightsaber strike twice was the step too far. Did you think? Yeah, I mean, it's especially when you have the Grand Inquisitor waltz right up. It's like he got stabbed, she got stabbed, he survived. What do you think she's gonna do? Which is also weird because usually a stab wound means you're gonna probably die unless you get medical help quickly. So this is annoying. This is what I find annoying with stakes, and a lot of people would go, "It's Star Wars and Darth Maul survived." Blah blah blah. Yeah, I have a problem with that too.
I do too. That was too much. I
extremely do because if you're gonna have him get cut in fucking half, he should be dead.
That's dead, buddy. I'm glad that they got him back in such a way that works, but I mean, without Mother Townsend, that doesn't.
It's like even still, it's like they went to the lengths to go that this is a difficult thing to bring him back from, essentially, and that even when he survived, he was like Looney Tune. Yeah, like he was just like he's out of commission. He's not actually going to be able to do anything.
Yeah, so
it was like okay. I mean, at least they kind of had that, which was something, I guess, but. I'd still rather believe that if somebody gets their head chopped off or something, or they get stabbed, or like that, they're probably dead instead of just no, will think they're dead, but no, they actually survived. It's like, stop it. If you get it, like they're gonna tell me in Star Wars at some point that the Dooku, he probably had a good chance of surviving after he got his head cut off. It's probably fine. It's probably just fine.
We'll find out in some future show because they're gonna do this with every character they could possibly think of.
Yeah, they have Dooku's head on a robot body.
Yes, exactly.
On a super battle droid or something.
Yeah, he's like,
or one of Grievous's old bodyguards.
He's like, now I know what Grievous felt, or whatever.
Yeah, he's the comedic relief now.
I mean, technically, that's what they did with Grievous. They took an alien's head and his spinal cord and his lungs and heart. I guess.
I feel like with an alien species like him, like in their technology with droids, it's like. If they were to say it was like an intentional thing, like that this is like an experiment, I could maybe buy it. But if it was like, oh, this is our medical things that help save him, I'd be like, no, no.
Yeah, exactly, man. Ooh, I like what Channel Starface is saying. This is pretty cool.
You read this one.
Okay, you could have given Reva a Sith moment and have it revealed that she was using her youngling story only to manipulate Kenobi, never having an intention to betray Vader. That would have been cool.
That would have been good. Or if how she learned about Anakin was through some other means, like not seeing him of some kind, like again, not being a youngling. Like if she learned that he was Anakin through fucking, I don't know, Tarkin or something.
Or maybe she freaking was. I'd be okay if she was one of the attacking No, I don't know. That's tough. But she found out because of the Jedi archives. That's what I'm saying. That's all. I don't know how she gets there, or sees it, but
Well, I feel like I wouldn't want that, because then anybody else that is able to look at it might, should be able to come to a conclusion if they know anything about
oh, that's
Anakin. Or
true too. So she just shouldn't know. And I guess
in
that's
fact, it's one of those things where, yeah, I don't know, her character. This whole show would need a lot of rewriting to make any of this make
yeah,
any
right.
sense. So,
But it is cool that the youngling story, like if there was a way to get that in there, I would be down with that. Just
yeah,
ending. Doom
indeed.
right again. Sorry, I read it. My bad.
Yep, that's fine. Yeah, is anything else happen in this episode? I don't know.
Yes, so just a very small bit here. So, they get in a fight. Reva and Vader get in a fight. Reva obviously dies. The Grand Inquisitor comes, gets his pendant back, and tells her she's got her trash. Then she picks up the Bail Organa thing. Now we know she's going to go to Tatooine, and then we go up into the ship, the transport with Obi-Wan Kenobi and all the people, the rebels, and Crushed T comes out, or Crushed Ice, or whatever comes out. O'Shea something. That's all I can remember. So I don't want to call him like an Irish name. I just don't remember his name. But so he comes out and he's like, yes, so I hate to tell you this, but the hyperdrive's broken. Wah, wah. Like, we already knew that was probably going to happen. I mean, they can't help but use all the tropes from all the other movies. The first thing I thought about was, oh, and he goes, and they're behind us. And I'm like, oh, great.
Wait, hold on. Wait, what?
Yeah, the very last.
This happens at the end. I totally skipped over this.
You must have been blanked out. Like, screw the show.
I think I remember they showed Luke real quick, and then they kind of. I thought it was cut to credits in my head. I don't remember there being a scene where they're saying that they're behind them. Their hyperdrive sucks.
Yeah, no, right. This is right right before you see Luke. That's when he comes out and he's like, "Hey, yeah, so the hyperdrive, wah wah," and he's like, "Oh, that's not good." He's like, "Oh yeah, and they're behind us," and he's like, "Oh," and then he starts thinking about obviously Luke and Bail Organa, and then it goes over. He looks at Leia and he gives her like a face of it's going to be okay, but then he says, "Oh, okay, I see," or whatever. He goes, "It'll be fine. I hope it will be fine." And then shows Luke, and that's the end. But that gave me Last Jedi vibes. Like, is that where we're going? They're going to be chased after in this long, extended chase where they're just
oh my god, no.
light.
Or if they go to Tatooine and have an epic battle trying to. Oh my fucking god, no.
And destroys Watto's workshop. Man, so bad.
Jesus. He said Bail Organa's message served zero purpose except to be discovered. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Darth Reva.
Why do they invent these little things where they take things that they thought were things and make them not make any fucking sense?
It comes from not knowing Star Wars. Not
like honestly, yes, there's that. It's like when Bail sent the message, I assumed it would be after this message is heard, it's gone. Not it wasn't stored onto a droid's memory or something.
Mission Impossible style.
Yeah, like it wasn't stored onto like R2's memory, and that's where you can pull up the message. Like that was like a part of the robot specifically. This is like a message that is going to go away in the ether. You don't want this hanging around.
No, you don't. And it should. This message will self-destruct and blah blah blah, and then that's it. Or don't even say it. It just kind of crumbles in his hand.
Just putters out or something.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's unusable. We got it. Cool.
What do these people think? I don't think there's a lot of creativity in the people they've hired in any of this, and I think we all know that they've hired people based on ethnicity and agenda and things like that without getting talent. And this isn't just happening with Star Wars, and we all know that. But I think that's why we're not getting creative writers, because Sandra wanted her friend Denise to get hired, so they hired her, and and then they're all like, "Hey, we can make a Star Wars show." Now, up to this point, they've screwed up quite a bit, so they've been trying to get more and more talent. Deborah Chow is a great director. She's proven herself more than enough to me, and the direction is fairly good, but they never get the writing right. They just don't know Star Wars.
No, they don't. It's like they think they're writing for a different sci-fi show. It seems like all the time.
Yeah,
it just never adds up, really.
Yeah, it's different sci-fi type atmosphere. The music is one of the things that fixes it when they do it right, you know. But
Yeah, but when they do it wrong, it stands out as another flaw. And by the way, we didn't even finish the fight scene, the Obi-Wan Anakin of the past, the flashback
oh yeah,
one. The whole fruits of that labor, I thought was supposed to be that because Anakin, they make Anakin say, "Ha, you have lost your lightsaber. Now I have one." And then Obi-Wan's like, "Nuh-uh," and then they have Vader fight her without a lightsaber.
yeah.
And I was like, "Is that the payoff of that scene?" Because that was really dumb. If that's the case, it makes that flashback even more pointless to me.
The flashback for me was just fun, and I didn't realize that that's what they were doing until the end. Obviously, that's when you're supposed to discover that, I guess. Um, and they wove it into the story, you know, just like I said in the beginning. That was kind of cool. But what they were trying to offer, what they were trying to teach, not just Anakin but us about the story, it was loose. I think that's the problem with a lot of the things they're trying to do is you are left guessing if they meant to do that or uh, why they did something, because then you fabricate this thought in your head with your buddies, and next thing you know, we're filling in the gaps for the writers. Same thing, same thing.
Yeah, which is like not everything has to be explicit, but like this seems like they're trying to make it explicit that this is what the flashback was for, and to me that doesn't really work. It makes it kind of lame.
Oh,
Like, and honestly, even like the fight with Riva, with him doing the force thing, it's like there wasn't anything interesting about it. If like after 10 seconds, I'm just kind of like, she's still swinging at him, and he's still walking, and that's all
yeah,
that's going on. Nothing else is happening. That's just all that's happening. And
yeah,
I'm like, this is just there's nothing about this that's interesting. And he's not even doing any like witty comments, which in a way it may seem kind of dumb, but for him, he'd probably have I don't know. It's hard to tell with Vader, you know. If they can get the right dialogue for him, then it can work.
yeah.
You know, and
Well,
be even funnier.
I was not the woven in story from you know, Attack of the Clones era. To me, was maybe the best part of this entire show, because I love seeing them together. But also, and that's the nostalgia side. But also because the fight was probably one of the better choreographed ones of this show at all. So it had me in the feels for sure. But that's pretty, like I said, pretty much the biggest thing about this show that I like.
Yeah. Think you think about all the potential too. Like if they would have had Padme in one of the flashbacks, and you know they're showing Leia and Luke, but it's like these are no. Let's go back to here and like some of the earlier stuff we weren't able to see perhaps, and what little things just there's a lot of different potentials that could have happened. Like
Well, you know the in the beginning of Attack of the Clones, the very first scene of Obi-Wan and Anakin riding up that elevator, um, and he's like, you know, I saved you from that nest of Gundarks or whatever, and he's like, oh, ha ha ha, yes, you're right. Like, why not go back to that scene and just having him, you know, and have a lesson about that? Because clearly Obi-Wan Kenobi wanted to forget about the fact that he failed, and just Anakin wanted everyone to remember that he passed that little test by saving his master. I've always thought if you're going to go back, and this is just me, I know it's a fan thing, but that would have been a good scene.
yeah, or something.
Yeah,
Exactly. Something with substance is all I would have wanted.
substance. Thank you.
But I mean,
Exactly.
that pretty much wraps it up, I guess. We've kind of given a lot of our thoughts about this episode and things that could have done better throughout. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, overall, I enjoyed the talk about it, and you know, it's going to be a big one next week, guys. So you know, tune in and check out what craziness we think of this. It feels like most of us in this community feel the same way, but
Yeah, surprisingly, there was a lot of people. Jay Exy, one of the guys associated with EFAP, was like, he's pointing out one of the scenes that was bad in the last episode. And dude, like 700 people are like, it's a space movie with little bears. It's like, oh my
same
fucking
thing,
God. Okay.
same thing they always say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
man.
always stupid. Fuck you. It's fine.
And how old are these people? See, there's a major difference between generations here. Between the original trilogy and the sequel or prequel, sorry, there was a small generation gap, but uh, not really, because it was just my parents who liked Star Wars, but it was us kids who were, 3 to 5 to 8 to 10 years old when A New Hope came out that grew up to be that group made the next Star Wars with George Lucas. They're big fans of the original trilogy, helped make the prequel trilogy. So you also had George Lucas too. Like let's not take that and not forget about that. Like George Lucas not being involved, I think every single time, no matter what Disney throws at it, is probably where some bad things are gonna just pop up. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm rambling at this point.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you everybody for coming by at Channel Starface. Good having you back. And Rob, thanks for coming by as well. Fresh news. There's a couple other people that popped in a little earlier. Appreciate you guys coming on out. That was fun seeing y'all. Yeah, we're having another video premiere on our channel today at around 4 o'clock Pacific, 7 Eastern. I might also do another fan film I might do a live fan film reaction with Runner in a little bit. I just might. We'll see if his schedule still matches up. But yeah, we'll let you guys know, and we'll see you guys later.
Great to see you guys. Thanks for
Yep.
coming by.
Thanks for coming by.